Uttar Pradesh is all set to go for elections next year, and it appears that the Bharatiya Janata Party has decided to sound the poll bugle because Union Home Minister Amit Shah is presently in capital city Lucknow. He has laid the foundation stone of the Institute of Forensic Sciences. He's also planted a sapling to mark the occasion, and Home Minister Amit Shah then shared the dais with UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath addressing a gathering. In the evening, however, Amit Shah is likely to again lay the foundation stone of a Vindhya Vasini corridor project that will be in Mirzapur area. After that, he will be offering prayers at the Kashi Vishwanath temple. Now remember, all of this, an itinerary coming because the Saffron party is likely to maximize its preparation from here on for the big Uttar Pradesh Mahayudh. India today has accessed the blueprint of its plan, which will be aiming to improve its 2017 achievement in Uttar Pradesh. Remember, UP is one of the most important states for national politics. The Bharatiya Janata Party has zeroed in on 80 assembly seats, which have never been won till now by the BJP. They will be, of course, aiming at Rai Bareli, Akbarpur, Etawah. That will be on the BJP's radar for 2022.
यूपी में जिनको सरकार बनाने के सपना आ रहे हैं, उनके कान तक ये आवाज जानी चाहिए। मेरे साथ जोर से बोलिए, भारत माता की, भारत माता की। हमें ट्रेन मैन पावर मिलेगा। आज पुलिसिंग जो 20 साल पहले कल्पना थी, वहां तक सीमित नहीं रहा। जाली नोट, नारकोटिक्स, नार्को टेरर, टेररिज्म, साइबर अपराध, आर्थिक अपराध, हथियारों की तस्करी, गौ तस्करी, अनेक प्रकार के अपराध ऐसे आ गए हैं जिनके सामने लड़ने के लिए देश के पुलिस बल को सज्ज करने की जरूरत है। और उसी को दृष्टिगत रखते हुए ये नेशनल फोरेंसिक साइंस यूनिवर्सिटी और राष्ट्रीय रक्षा यूनिवर्सिटी की स्थापना देश के प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी के प्रेरणा से गृह विभाग ने करी है। और मैं मानता हूं कि इसी के साथ अगर यहां से एक ट्रेन मानव बल प्राप्त होगा तो वो दिन दूर नहीं है कि हर जिले में उत्तर प्रदेश के एक मोबाइल फोरेंसिक वाहन हम उपलब्ध करा पाएंगे और रीजनल एफएसएल के सेंटर भी बना पाएंगे। और उसके बाद 6 साल के ज्यादा जिसमें सजा का प्रावधान है, ऐसे हर गुना में एफएसएल को कंपलसरी कर 2 सिद्धि का प्रमाण हम आगे बढ़ाने का प्रयास करेंगे। मैं कई बार कहता हूं, पुलिस 2 ही कारणों से बदनाम होती है, एक नो एक्शन और दूसरा एक्सट्रीम एक्शन। नो एक्शन भी ठीक नहीं है, अकर्मण्यता कानून और व्यवस्था को ठीक नहीं कर सकती, और एक्सट्रीम एक्शन भी ठीक नहीं है क्योंकि वो उसकी प्रतिक्रियाएं निर्माण करता है। तो नो एक्शन और एक्सट्रीम एक्शन से निकलकर जस्ट एक्शन की दिशा में, एक स्वाभाविक प्रतिक्रिया की दिशा में पुलिस आगे बढ़े, इसके लिए ये दोनों यूनिवर्सिटियां बहुत बड़ा काम करेगी। मित्रों, आज मैं यहां पर आया हूं तब इतना जरूर कहना चाहता हूं कि उत्तर प्रदेश के अंदर मैं अखबारों को पढ़ता रहता हूं, अनेक प्रकार के इधर उधर के बयान आते हैं और चुनाव आने के बाद एक्टिव होने वाले राजनीतिक नेताओं की संख्या सबसे ज्यादा उत्तर प्रदेश में है। बाढ़ आती है तो दिखाई नहीं पड़ते हैं, कोरोना आता है तो दिखाई नहीं पड़ते हैं। जब किसानों का अनाज आप खरीद नहीं रहे थे, किसान भूख से मर रहा था, दिखाई नहीं पड़ते। किसानों के ऋण माफ करने थे, आप मौज मस्ती में व्यस्त थे। किसानों को परेशान किया जाता था, ऋण प्राप्त नहीं होता था, आप मौज मस्ती में।
That is Home Minister Amit Shah speaking. Remember, of course, the comments that have come in from the Home Minister appear that it is the poll bugle that's also being sounded in the state of Uttar Pradesh. It's an elaborate itinerary that has been planned. Home Minister is presently in Lucknow city, the capital city of the state. But they will, of course, be heading for other development projects to also be laid for the foundation stone. And then in the evening, there will be prayers offered at the Kashi Vishwanath temple. Now, interestingly, caste politics is peaking just before 2022 Uttar Pradesh Assembly elections, and how? Whether the Bahujan Samaj Party or the Bharatiya Janata Party or even the Congress, each party appears to be trying to woo the Brahmin voters. In the latest now, the Bahujan Samaj Party, led by Mayawati, has launched a scathing attack against the BJP. BSP is calling the Saffron Party as the Brahmin killer. Here's more on that.
With less than a year for Uttar Pradesh assembly elections, Brahmin votes are in full demand. BSP, SP and Congress are trying to woo the community. Bahujan Samaj Party is facing existential crisis ahead of 2022 assembly polls. While addressing a Brahmin meet in Amethi, BSP Rajya Sabha MP Satish Chandra Mishra launched a scathing attack on Yogi government for targeting and oppressing Brahmins in the state.
देखा किस तरीके से ब्राह्मण समाज के एक व्यक्ति को जब मारा इन्होंने और मारा भी कानून कोई आदेश नहीं, सरकारी आदेश नहीं है, हाईकोर्ट का आदेश नहीं है, न्यायालय में नहीं ले गए, लेकिन गाड़ी पलटती है, मार देते हैं। ठीक है, आप कहते हैं कि उसने गलत काम किया था, लेकिन बाकी लोगों ने क्या किया था?
Glorification of gangster Vikas Dubey has led to strong counter-attack from not just ruling BJP but also Samajwadi Party and Congress.
सुश्री मायावती जी के आइकॉन कभी मुख्तार अंसारी होते हैं तो कभी विकास दुबे होते हैं। उत्तर प्रदेश में अपराधियों के विरुद्ध और उनके संपत्ति के विरुद्ध जो अभियान चल रहा है उससे दोनों दल व्यथित हैं।
अब चुनाव आ गए हैं तो ये कहीं न कहीं इन सारी जातियों को, धर्मों को एक दूसरे से लड़ा करके चुनाव लड़ना चाहते हैं। पिछले 5 साल में जनता ये जरूर पूछेगी आदरणीय मिश्रा जी, सुश्री मायावती जी, कि आपने जनता के हितों की कितनी लड़ाई लड़ी।
बहुजन समाज पार्टी अब ब्राह्मणों के हित की बात कर रही है। मुझे लगता है जब अन्याय हो रहा था उनके खिलाफ तब सिर्फ समाजवादी पार्टी बोल रही थी, सड़क से लेकर सदन तक, तभी सारे दल नहीं दिखाई दे रहे थे।
BSP is repeating its strategy of 2007 assembly polls to achieve a majority in the state by consolidating Brahmin votes. The party has lined up Brahmin Sammelans in the coming weeks across the state. BSP has also vowed to expedite the construction work of Ram Temple. BSP is clearly fishing in troubled waters, and 2007 encore is an uphill task due to dearth of Brahmin leaders in BSP.
The opposition, including BJP, are also questioning that this is the same Mayawati who had sentiments in Mukhtar Ansari case or Vikas Dubey case, and now seeing the Uttar Pradesh elections on the doors, they are trying to woo the Brahmin voters and trying to form the government with the help of Dalits and Brahmins. With cameraman Sanjay Samar Srivastava for India Today.
Kerala continues to be at the centre of COVID rise in the country this time. The state has recorded over 20,000 daily cases for the 5th straight day, raising alarm bells as India braces for the 3rd wave. Kerala's positivity rate has now been hovering between 12 and 13%, falling in the centre's list of cause for concern. Now, the state government, led by Pinarayi Vijayan, has ordered a weekend lockdown, which basically continues from earlier lockdowns to curb at least the relentless rise. Government has issued a fresh order that micro-containment zones need to be set up in all places where cluster of cases are being seen. Neighbouring Karnataka has now made RT-PCR test mandatory for those coming in from Maharashtra and Kerala, the 2 states that are reporting a rise. Centre also has issued guidelines to Kerala and 9 other states. The government at the centre had series of advisories for 10 states, imposing strict restrictions in all districts with over 10% positivity rate, prevent crowding in these areas. Centre is also advising the states to ramp up COVID testing and, of course, the vaccination drive that is presently ongoing.
We are doing like 15,000 tests, that is 200% tests. Based on our target, we are doing that. They said you should continue with it and also follow up those people who are having non-communicable disease, whether they are developing. And for every day's cases, you do a 14-day follow-up and see to that how many percentage is being shifted to becoming severe and being shifted to the hospitals.
Punjab government is set to open schools in the state. Punjab government on Saturday announced the reopening of schools for all classes in the state from 2nd of August, that is Monday. Schools have been instructed to follow proper protocol to ensure COVID-19 appropriate behavior among students. Teachers who are fully vaccinated only will be allowed to physically take classes. The state government had allowed the reopening of schools for 10th and 12th classes from 26th of July. Even the hill state of Uttarakhand has decided to reopen schools for 9th to 12th classes from Monday. Meanwhile, after reopening of schools in Fatehabad, Haryana, 6 students were tested positive. However, the students were asymptomatic, isolated as per COVID guidelines. As per part of the protocols, wearing a mask, using sanitizers, practicing social distancing are part of the basics of safety measures to be ensured.
उन्होंने हमें वैक्सीनेशन तो दी नहीं है, कुछ कोई रिगार्डिंग वैक्सीनेशन से कुछ हुआ नहीं है हमारा, तो उनको करना तो चाहिए कुछ ना कुछ इसके साथ। तो या तो अगर वैक्सीनेशन अच्छा किया हो तो बच्चे भी जाना भी शुरू करें, नहीं तो जैसे अगर देखा जाना स्कूल में आज तक बच्चे बहुत थोड़े थोड़े आ रहे हैं, ये भी नहीं कि बहुत बच्चे आते हैं।
एक तरफ से ठीक ही है, सरकार को स्कूल खोलने चाहिए क्योंकि बच्चे घर पे बैठ के उतना नहीं सीख पाते जितना स्कूल में जाके सीखते हैं। बच्चे बच्चों के साथ खेलते हैं तो ज़्यादा अच्छा बेटर सीखते हैं, तो बच्चे ज़्यादातर यहीं पे घर पे रह के बोर हो जाते हैं। स्कूल में जाके उनकी ग्रोथ होती है, डेवलपमेंट तो वहीं पे जाके होगी।
मैं 80% तो विलिंग नहीं हूँ अपने बच्चों को स्कूल भेजने के लिए। मानती हूँ कि फिजिकली और मेंटली अगर बच्चे देखें तो बहुत वीक हो गए हैं, उनकी ग्रोथ नहीं है। कहें कि सब रूम सैनिटाइज हो जाएंगे बच्चों को, ये प्रिकॉशंस नहीं हो सकती क्योंकि बच्चा एक दूसरे के साथ कॉपी, नोटबुक, हर चीज़ शेयर करेगा, इवन टीचर्स के साथ, फ्रेंड्स के साथ।
So is India and specifically parents ready to have their children head out as students back to schools? Because several other states are in the process of following suit. But is it safe? That's the question we'll be asking because experts are divided. Some are even skeptical just yet. Others are of the view that schools should be reopened in areas at least where the COVID situation is under control. So take a look at this very special report coming in on what experts have to say.
Spiking in Kerala. Stubborn in Maharashtra. Under control in the north, relatively for now. As the pandemic blows hot and cold across the country, several states have either reopened or are in the process of reopening their schools. Advocates of in-person learning support the move.
आज के दिन हम देखें तो पूरा समाज खुल गया, भीड़ इकट्ठी हो रही है, मॉल्स में, मार्केट्स में भीड़ इकट्ठी हो रही है, बट स्कूल्स को हमने प्रायोरिटी बिल्कुल भी नहीं दी। कोविड का मामला लंबा खिंचता जा रहा है। एक बच्चा स्कूल क्यों जाता है? हम चाहते हैं उसकी ब्रेन डेवलपमेंट हो, उसकी फिजिकल डेवलपमेंट हो।
Some health experts are skeptical though. When the pandemic struck in March last year, as many as 15 lakh schools shut down across India's 28 states and 8 union territories.
The debate over whether or not children should come back to schools is a divisive one. But now there is data to show that children are at a lower risk of contracting COVID-19 and much lesser risk at developing any serious complications because of the virus.
Experts in the United States found children represented 14.2% of all COVID cases across America. And child fatality from the new coronavirus stood up to 0.26% of all COVID-19 deaths in that country. A UNICEF report suggests 13.4% of global cases are amongst the under 19 age bracket, of which only 0.3% cases resulted in deaths. Some experts advise schools to be reopened in areas only where the outbreak is under control.
1.5 साल से हमने बच्चों को बिठा ही रखा है। जब मौका मिला तब तो आप भेजना शुरू करिए, तब की तब देखेंगे कि थर्ड वेव आती है तो कितनी सीवियर है। ऐसा कोई वैज्ञानिक तथ्य नहीं है जो कि ये बताता है कि तीसरी लहर बच्चों में ही असर करेगी। ये एक अवैज्ञानिक स्टेटमेंट है।
Reopening of the schools when the pandemic still rages on in parts of India is beset with a tough choice. A choice between the best and the safest way to educate children. With Milan Sharma in New Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today.
Welcome back. Tensions continue between Mizoram and Assam over the unprecedented 26 July clash between the police of the two states. India Today is on the ground. Ashutosh Mishra spoke exclusively also to other officials there in Mizoram. India Today, in fact, also spoke to Mizoram Chief Minister Zormthanga to know what led to the clash. Now, Zormthanga blamed Assam for the flare-up, accusing the neighbouring state police of using light machine guns at the Mizoram police personnel. Also adding that Assam police even captured the camp of Mizoram police, and when Mizoram police went to negotiate, locals came down with sticks, along with Assam police resorting to lathi charge and firing tear gas shells. Chief Minister has said on 24th of July during the meeting with Home Minister, both states had agreed to resolve the issue, but just 2 days later on 26 July, Assam started the flare-up. So this is, of course, a blame game that continues. Also remember, Mizoram police has booked Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma on charges of attempt to murder and criminal conspiracy. FIR was also filed against 4 senior police officials, 2 bureaucrats, 200 unidentified Assam police personnel. Assam in return has summoned 6 officers of Mizoram police to join the investigation on Monday. Assam government has issued directions to check all vehicles entering into the state from Mizoram, even issuing a travel advisory about Mizoram.
After the deadly clash on 26 July at Assam-Mizoram border, how now the deadlock will be resolved? Joining with the Chief Secretary of Mizoram, sir, we have seen the deadly clash that led to the killing of 6 policemen. Assam blames Mizoram, Mizoram blames policemen. But end of the day, there has to be a solution. This deadlock cannot continue. How will this be resolved?
The solutions can come through dialogue only. It has to be discussed and resolved across the table, not through force of police or brute strength of numbers. Assam has also been building up. In fact, you can see through social media that they are mobilizing bulletproof vehicles, which they have deployed at Lailapur and the surrounding areas.
How ready you are to deal with this crisis, which could be resulted after the undeclared lockdown that we are seeing at the Assam border?
In fact, this is, to my mind, totally unethical and illegal act of government of Assam. They know that. See, we depend on them hopelessly for our access to mainland India. So they know that. Their trump card is a blockade, highway blockade to Mizoram.
But the government never said they have imposed blockade.
No, they are doing it. They are doing it.
Have they communicated you officially that they are doing this blockade?
No, they will deny that they are doing it, but it is Assam police which is enforcing it.
After undeclared economic blockade from Assam towards Mizoram stopping its supply, now the Mizoram CM has appealed the centre to intervene and prevent for making it another Berlin. While speaking to India Today, the Mizoram Chief Minister Zormthanga here at his residence. I'm here in Mizoram, in Aizawl, right outside his residence, and while speaking to me, he did say that it is time for the centre to intervene. However, he also said that during the Shillong meeting on 24th, despite the meeting that we agreed to solve the crisis, the border dispute between two states amicably, on 24th July, the Assam police personnel, the armed police personnel did enter in the territory and captured the police outpost of Mizoram, and that led to this entire brawl that also resulted in injuring 2 personnels from the Mizoram side. The Chief Minister now appealing centre to intervene immediately, as now there going to be a crisis for the state of Mizoram, particularly after the economic blockade that is being seen from the Assam. Remember, largely the supply of the Mizoram comes from Assam through different routes, but at the moment only North Tripura border is accessible, and that could perhaps lead to the crunch of supplies to the state of Mizoram. The Chief Minister, through this India Today, in the conversation with me, has appealed the centre to immediately step in and try to resolve this issue under the umbrella of the Home Minister, with 2 Chief Ministers, both from Assam and Mizoram, having dialogue and solve the issue amicably. In Aizawl, at Ground Zero with Sanjay Kumar, I'm Ashutosh Mishra.